Hi.
We're here! Yeah! Woo! Oh, man, I peeked the shit out of these mics. You know what? I don't care. I don't give a fuck. It's been 2 years.
These mics are surprisingly good at handling that.
It's been like a year, right?
It's been a while. Sidewalk Slam was the first things that we did, like with the little animated avatars.
Yeah.
Yeah, we revolutionized Loading Ready Run podcasting.
It wasn't the same.
No.
I hated it.
Yeah.
You know?
Not a fan.
But this?
This is great. He's touching my shoulder.
It's on a green screen.
Yeah. If you're listening to this for the descriptive video service, Adam tenderly touched my shoulder a moment ago.
Sure did.
Welcome to Sidewalk Slam. This is a podcast/video show where we talk about wrestling from a perspective of narrative and presentation and storytelling. And it's good to be back. Today we are talking about AEW's All Out 2021. And why are we talking about AEW's All Out 2021?
Because wrestling is good again.
Yeah.
That's exactly why. All of a sudden, wrestling became really good again.
We kept doing Sidewalk Slam for a little while after lockdown and all that. And we went up to the pandemic WrestleMania, which was like the 2 nights in the Performance Center. It was weird, but ultimately, I thought they put on a pretty good show, considering
all things
considered. But after that, I was just sort of like, that said, I'm kind of like not really interested right now. Yeah. And I was super, super busy. I'm busy now, but I was super busy then, just trying to keep up everything. And I was like, I just can't really keep up with wrestling. I think I watched SummerSlam. I don't think we talked about it.
No, I didn't even watch it.
And then we did the Rumble this year, because it's the Rumble, and I love the Rumble.
Yeah.
And then we watched WrestleMania this year, and independently. And the Sasha Banks-Bianca Belair match was great. And the rest of the 2 nights elicited very little emotional response from me. I was just sort of like, Yep.
They happened, yeah.
And I don't know. Did you watch SummerSlam?
Nope. Sure didn't. Skipped it.
Wasn't great.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't great.
Like,
but it sucks though, because like there's some stuff in WWE that was like, okay, so a lot has happened in the wrestling landscape.
I was just about to say
things have changed. Roman Reigns turned heel.
Yep.
And apparently it's been very good. I've skipped a lot of it.
He's good, yeah.
Apparently, I mean, we all knew it, right? We all knew. We were like, let him be a heel. He'd be really good. And they're like, no. And then now he's a heel. And we're like, we were right. And they're like, shut up. Just keep watching.
That about covers it, yeah.
They let Bray Wyatt go.
Yep.
They shot Bray Wyatt into the sun.
Well, hang on. So before we actually get into to that specifically, I want to talk about not just Bray Wyatt. I want to talk about another reason that it's been really difficult for me to sort of like remain invested in WWE, which is all of the people that they've fired and released. Now, I should mention, it's not just myself. We didn't even say hi. It's not just myself, Graham, and Adam here. Hi. It's also Beach. Hey, Beach.
Did they pick up the gobbledygooker?
No, the gobbledygooker's all elite, Beach.
Oh, all right.
So, I don't know what's happening in WWE. Yeah. Apparently, this is mostly like money. They've been making revenue hand over fist during this thing.
Apparently they made more money than they ever have.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, the pandemic was great.
Yeah, and they're firing people for, I don't know, budget reasons.
You know why they made so much money? Because they jettisoned everybody from the roster.
So, like, real quick, I don't want to drill down on every single one of these, but real quick, here's everyone that was released from WWE in 2020.
Yeah.
Not 2021, 2020. Zelina Vega, who eventually returned. Akam and Razor, the authors of Pain.
Yeah.
Rusev.
Yeah.
Which was utterly ridiculous at the time, frankly. Zack Ryder, Mike and Maria Kanellis, the Primo and Epico, the Colognes, Big Red, Eric Rowan, Sarah Logan, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, the Good Brothers, EC3, Ethan Carter, Leo Rush, Kurt Hawkins, Renee Young. She actually asked for her she decided to leave when her contract was up. Heath Slater, Eric Young, Curtis Axel, No Way Jose, Deonna Purrazzo, Cassius Ohno. You're not going to know all these names. Some of these people are from NXT. We haven't talked about a lot. Some of these people were at the Performance Center still. Little indie guy by the name of Kurt Angle. Aiden English, Gerald Briscoe, Mike Rotunda, referee Mike Chioda, and correspondent Kathy Kelly. Then in 2021...
Yeah. This is like a salt the earth.
Yeah. Lars Sullivan, no one's going to miss you. The Big Show.
Yeah.
Steve Cutler. Andrade.
Yeah.
Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, the Iconics. Samoa Joe, later rehired on NXT. Mickey James. Chelsea Green. Tucker. Poor Tucker. They broke up Heavy Machinery and fired the one guy they didn't care about. Bo Dallas. Mojo Rawley. Wesley Blake. Kavita Devi. Jessamine Duke. Vanessa Bourne, Skylar Story, Ezra Judge, Alexander Wolf from Sanity, Velveteen Dream. Well, Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Yeah,
Baffling.
They got rid of Poke Braun, dude.
Baffling.
They were like,
he held the title a month before they fired him.
Yeah.
Don't understand why. Lana, who was employed there for way longer than Rusev was in that horrible storyline with Bobby Lashley, who is still
I forgot about that.
who is still champion,
Man,
by the
that
way.
sucked.
Buddy Murphy, Alistair Black,
Yeah, that's a...
Ruby Riott, Santana Garrett, Fandango and Tyler Breeze, Tony Nese, Arya Davari, August Gray, the Singh brothers, Kurt Stallion, Arturo Ruas, Marina Shafir, Killian Dane, so I think all of Sanity except for Nikki Cross, Matt Martell, Chase Parker, Bray Wyatt, Ric Flair, because he wanted to do other stuff, Bobby Fish, Bronson Reed, who again was NXT North American champion, like weeks beforehand.
Yeah.
Jake Atlas, Ari Stirring, Kona Reeves, Leon Ruff, Stefan Smith, Tyler Rust, Zachariah Smith, Asher Hale, Giant Zanjir, and Mercedes Martinez.
I thought you were going to say Giant Gonzalez.
Giant Gonzalez, somehow still around. It's 119 people between on screen and backstage, and with no communication to the creative team. Like Alistair Black was in the middle of a storyline. He'd just returned to TV.
Yeah.
He was like 2 weeks into a storyline and fired.
Yeah.
But because he still So they have to give a certain amount of notice. It's generally called a non-compete clause. What it's they're giving notice.
Yeah.
You can't wrestle when they fire someone from the main roster. It's like they have a 90-day no-compete clause. The wrestler can choose not to take it, but they don't get paid for those 90 days. If they do the 90 days, they get paid for those 90 days. In NXT, it's only 60 days. And when Aleister Black came up to the main roster, that was not updated, which is why he was able to debut on AEW literally 30 days later, showing up and
that's why.
kicking the face off of Arn Anderson and Cody Rhodes as Malachi Black.
Yeah.
So many of those names you will notice are now in AEW, and we'll sort of talk about that as we get on. But it just feels exhausting the rosters on WWE look so slim right now.
Yeah.
They're apparently totally revamping NXT as of tonight, I think, or last night or whatever.
As of this recording, it was this week.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's so hard to care.
Yeah, it's very hard.
It's so hard. And it doesn't help that WWE is like actively antagonistic to like long-term, to fans caring about like continuity and stuff. This is not meant to be an AEW versus WWE show.
That's the last thing I want.
Debate thing, but that's why I have stopped really caring about WWE for now. There's good stuff in there. They brought Becky back, kind of an emergency. They were like, quick, we need you back for reasons that we'll get into on AEW. But WWE says that they don't care about AEW and then acts like they really care about AEW.
Yeah, they care.
And they probably should.
They definitely should.
Well, I mean, on the other hand, not really. Like on the one hand, they don't care because they're never gonna. They're not money wise. They're set. They've got all these TV deals. They're just they've snowballed so far that like it's unstoppable at this point. WWE can't actually like stop from generating lots of money just by sort of what they've created. So they're not actually like worried about their bottom line. But like on a like
they have
on
like
like
some,
an ego level. They don't
Yeah.
they don't like AEW.
They have some like actual competition now too.
Yeah.
Like it's legitimate, right? Like when AEW first started, it was kind of like, oh, that's cool, right? Like
Yeah, and
it's
they're
neat,
like,
it's an
oh,
alternative.
a
Yeah.
rising tide lifts all ships. You know, more wrestling is great for more fans of wrestling. But
Yeah.
then secretly they're like, those bastards.
Also feels like, though, when AEW came along, it was in an environment where people were like, yo, yeah, I'm actually ready for there to be some competition
Yeah,
again.
it's an alternative, something
Yeah.
a little
'Cause
bit different.
It felt for a little while, because I don't know much about the industry, but just something about when WCW and WWE merged, that there was just this sense of like, yeah, I'm ready to just watch one thing and not have to have a fight going on.
Yeah.
But I think people are now more along the lines of, I'm ready to see what somebody else can do with this whole idea of men
there's more than
grabbing
one,
each other's tights.
There's more than one way to tell these stories, and we're seeing that now.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It's been
I
great.
prefer the AEW method. As
Yes.
it turns out,
Yeah.
their target is people like us.
Yeah.
In fact, they are run by a person like us. By all accounts, Tony Khan is like someone who he loves wrestling. He understands wrestling. He like ran like fantasy, his own like fantasy league. And,
Really?
oh
I
yeah,
didn't know
like
that. That's cool.
when he was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw, what was it? It was like that meme with like the increasing dominoes, right? There's like a guy knocking over a teeny little domino, and then the dominoes get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's like the end result of the thing. You haven't seen that one?
No,
Oh,
I
it's
haven't
an
seen
image macro.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
a picture, right? And so it's like the biggest domino is labeled like like CM Punk debuts for AEW in Chicago after 7 years out of wrestling, and then the first domino is WWE wouldn't let Cody not be Stardust.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's actually very true.
Can you imagine if they just, because he was like, I will work double shifts. I will be Stardust on Raw if I can just be Cody on SmackDown. Like, let me do this, please. And they were like, no. And so he left, and then he joined in with the Elite and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And then there was that conversation with Dave Meltzer on Twitter where he was it Meltzer, whoever it was, who was like, there's no way that
You could sell out
could sell out a 10,000 seats, and they were like, we'll do it, and they did that independent show, and it was Cody and Kenny and the Young Bucks and Jericho, and then Tony Khan got involved, and I know I'm getting some details wrong here, but then it turned into this whole thing, and now AEW is like, they've gotten bigger and better faster than anyone, including themselves, predicted. And it's amazing.
It's incredible watching, like, even from like the first few episodes of Dynamite to like that pay-per-view on Sunday. I'm just like, this looks like a different company.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there are problems. Like, I'm not saying AEW is like the golden child.
Oh, no.
I have a lot of concerns about, like,
I'm here to criticize some things too, but overall, this was an absolute banger of a paper.
oh, it was unreal. I was like, I love wrestling again. It was unreal. Like, I was just like, this is great. This is exactly what I want to watch. Yeah.
So shall we
get into it?
Shall we get into it?
Yeah,
All
let's do
right.
it.
Live from Chicago, Illinois, in the Now Arena on September 5th, 2021, All Out. Their pay-per-views, they only do 4 every year. They've got their big 4, or the only 4.
It's like the very old school WWF way.
Yeah.
Where it was like, with the WWF, it was Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. Those were their 4 pay-per-views, and they never did any more.
Yeah, and so AEW has All In, Double or Nothing, All Out, and Full Gear. Those are their thing. It's sort of a toss-up if they're going for like a casino theme or a like a machinery theme, All In, right? And then Double or Nothing, and then All Out. You're going all out, and then Full Gear it's all gears, and we're taking it to full gear.
That is kind of weird, actually. I didn't think about that.
They sort of split it up.
Definitely not a steroid reference then.
No.
Okay,
no,
just was confused about that.
Definitely.
Steroids don't exist anymore, Beach.
Okay, thank you.
They outlawed them.
Definitely physically a smaller roster than, like, say, WCW back in the day.
Yeah.
To the point that when you see Billy Gunn, because Billy Gunn is like a backstage guy, but sometimes he has made on camera appearances, and you're like, Billy Gunn's enormous.
Oh, Billy Gunn's huge.
It's
but
just
he looked normal.
when
like,
he's standing around beside Kevin Nash, and it's like, yeah, Billy Gunn's an average height guy. No, Billy Gunn's an absolute Goliath.
yeah, he's huge. He's like taller than I am.
Yeah.
Right. But in WWE, he looked like an average sized human being. Mm-hmm. It was weird. Yeah.
Because we did, was it, what show? We did a AEW pay-per-view on Sidewalk Slam, and we talked about how the Guns, because the tag team, they're his kids, and each of them looks like a different failed clone of Billy Gunn. Like they look
fucking kicking and screaming, covered in ooze.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah, they do look like failed clones of Billy Gunn. They're like, no, put another one in the
they're
put another one in the vat.
Like they're great. They just really look like their dad.
Yeah,
Scrape off all the motor oil and oatmeal.
Yeah. So, 10,000 in attendance apparently.
Yeah,
very awesome. A lot of hype around this because I mentioned his name. Shouldn't be a surprise to you at this point. If you're watching the show, you probably will have seen this. But a couple weeks prior, on an episode of AEW Rampage, which is their new show, they've got 2 weekly shows now. Dynamite, which is 2 hours on Wednesday nights, and Rampage, which is 1 hour on Friday nights.
It's so nice.
What a digestible amount of wrestling.
So I've been like watching the last few weeks, and I'm like, I watched Rampage, and I'm like, oh, it's over.
Oh, that's great.
I was like, oh, I want more. You know what I mean? Like it was like that short enough where you're like, but wait, but what? But and then you gotta wait till next week. Yeah.
Tony Khan, if you're listening, which I doubt, please, from Canada, please, we need a better way to watch your product in Canada.
Yeah.
Happy to pay the pay-per-views on, what is it, Fight TV?
I use Fight. Yeah.
Happy to use that. That's what I use as well. The weekly shows you can only get in Canada on TSN, the sports network, and we're millennials. We don't have cable. So it's like, okay, well, you just buy the TSN digital offering. No, because they're like, we have all the sports. So you know how much it is? TSN Direct, as they call it, you'll love this, Beej, is $7.99, $8 for a day.
What? I've never heard of anyone doing that before.
Right?
That's crazy.
Yes, which makes the $18 a month sound like a screaming deal.
Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Michael Landsberg is rolling over in his grave. Or
Luckily.
Gino Reda. There's some old TSN. There's only a handful of people that'll get that one.
Can you just, like, I don't know, acquire the recordings off the back of a truck and maybe just PayPal them $20 a month or something? Like,
I'll just buy some T-shirts.
yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, if you want to watch some stuff on YouTube, they have a lot of stuff. They have 2 YouTube shows weekly as well, AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation, which are sort of different. Dark is like 90 minutes every week, and it's just matches.
Yeah.
There's some storyline stuff as well, but nothing that you need to. It's not a prerequisite for watching Dynamite. It's sort of self-contained or some.
It's actually kind of a smart way of going around, like, because AEW's roster is getting really big.
Yeah,
but it's also a very smart way to let young talent get screen time and like develop their craft. It's not really like meant to be like a storyline vehicle, like you said, but it's just meant for them to like get out there, work in front of a crowd, and learn how to do it. So then when they go in front of like on a big show, they're ready to do it.
Yeah, it's been really good for some people.
Yeah,
like,
it's great.
People have noticed. I haven't been watching every week because it's still a lot, but people have noticed marked improvement on different wrestlers over the course of it. So that's great. So on the second episode of Rampage, because it's a recent thing, in Chicago, Illinois, there was this like not confirmed open secret that CM Punk was going to debut at Rampage. And the only so it was like reported, and there was like rumors, and it was supposed, and people were like, hey, wait, I think that AEW have actually been dropping hints about this. Darby Allin mentioned the best in the world in a promo. Kenny Omega was wearing a Cookie Monster t-shirt one week and then a Chick Magnet t-shirt the other week. These are both things that CM Punk has claimed that the CM stands for. Yeah. It is Chick Magnet, by the way. He started it was a tag team name, the Chick Magnets. It was CM Punk and CM Venom, but don't worry about that. And people were like, oh my God, wait, maybe that is happening. And the thing is, AEW has been very good. They're really good at listening to their fans, which is so refreshing.
It's weird, right? It feels like somebody's gonna come out of Vince McMahon's gonna come out of a closet and like, I fucking gotcha. And he's like, say hello to Hogan, and then Hogan comes out and Rampage, and we're all like, fuck, god damn it, you got us, man.
He boomed me.
And we're all like, damn it, is he still racist? Hell yes, he is. he's super racist.
You wouldn't want him any other way.
Yeah, it's American dream, pal. I'm just waiting for somebody. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, man. It feels too good to be true.
So, among that, AEW is really good about quashing untrue rumors.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If someone's like, oh, I think this is happening, Tony Khan or someone from AEW would be like, correction, that is not a thing.
Yeah.
And on this, they were silent.
Yeah.
And in an interview in the week prior, Tony Khan was like, you should really tune into Rampage this week. I don't want to say anything, but people are not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, so it was like everyone.
You know that meme with the guy with the big vein in his head?
Yeah. I think Lance Storm was tweeting about how it's like, yeah, it was 99% sure, but the 1% that made it unsure made it so much more interesting.
Yes.
Right? If it was like, yeah, CM Punk will be there, I'd be like, whoa, my mind's blown, but all right, cool. But this was like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen?
There's like, with every kind of announcement or event or reveal trail, like a movie trailer or a game reveal, there is a 1% part of your body that wants to be disappointed because we all like feeling hurt every once in a while.
Jesus.
And that's true. You can't look me in the eye and say that you don't. Every once in a while, you just like to get really disappointed because then you have, like, you can commiserate. I can go to Graham, like, Graham, yeah, they announced the thing and they didn't announce the thing I wanted to. And I'm like, yeah, it sucks, man. It's like, I know, you're looking forward to it. And it's like, yeah, you know?
And then we just deal with it like adults do. Be like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Guess I'll go eat ice cream.
Guess I'll do key bumps in the bathroom.
We all have our ways of coping.
Or however you want to deal with it. And so, yeah, Rampage from Chicago, which wasn't originally going to be in Chicago, but of course that's CM Punk's hometown. And they didn't waste time. At the top of the show, Cult of Personality by Living Colour hits, and CM Punk comes out, and he hasn't been in wrestling in 7 years since he walked away from WWE. You're not the only one.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
What was the pop like?
Oh, fuck.
Unreal.
The biggest pop I think you will ever hear. A lot of people talk about the Austin Mankind pop.
Yep, that was big.
I think this one was bigger.
This was huge.
I'm pretty sure this one was bigger. And it was sustained.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was like, God, I should show you the clip, Beach, because it's just unreal.
There was an amazing video that AEW released of footage and audio from inside the production truck, where you got to see the director, which is a mind-numbing job doing that for an entire live show, but calling out all the camera cuts and doing everything. And when the music hit, when he was like, all right, hit it, and then the music hit and Punk came out, there was like guys in the control room being like, they were like, yeah! Like fist pumping. Yeah. My favorite
was great.
my favorite is the director, very measured in all of his, he's like, ready 4, go 4. All right, 5, tighten up. Ready 5, go 5. Okay, ready 4, go 4. You know, he's being like really, really measured. There was a shot. It became famous of a fan in the crowd in tears, seeing CM Punk enter, right? And the guy was when the director cut to that, he was like, "All right, ready 9, go 9." Good shit. It was the only time he editorialized. It was just like, yes, we got the crying fan.
We got one. Find me a crying fan right now.
Number 9, you're getting a raise.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 9's got the camera. Like, cry some more.
It was amazing, and he came out and he did a promo that he apparently was like largely unplanned, and it was still so good. He had, you're over when just sitting down cross-legged in the middle of the ring gets
When
a
you
huge
take your
pop.
hoodie off and you get a huge pop.
Take your hoodie off. He had a new shirt and everything.
Yeah.
At the end of the promo, he was like, "Oh, by the way," so there was this big thing Beach in his. There was this like running gag in his run in WWE where WWE or WWF at the time, I think, made. They used to make ice cream bars.
Oh yeah.
And Punk had this thing when he was in WWE. He's like, "Bring back! I want an ice cream bar. I want to see CM Punk ice cream bar. Bring those back."
With the cookie on the outside and the shitty printed picture, right? Yeah.
And they never, and they didn't. So at the Rampage show, he's like, "By the way, on your way out of here, everyone gets an ice cream bar on me." He got a local Chicago ice cream company, literally paid out of his own pocket. For this was not an AEW thing to get ice cream bars free for everyone in the arena.
That's how we know we got our guy back.
Yeah.
You know? We got our guy back. That's what it feels like. I was like, man, that's our guy. You know, it's like what's the word I'm looking for? When you're like a fan of something for a long time. I don't want to say it's not indentured because that's slavery.
Committed? I don't know.
There's another word for it, and I can't think of it now.
I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
You're like, what is the word?
But you're saying like when you've been a fan of something for so long, and it's kind of like this is the guy I back. He's my favorite.
Yeah, it's like this is. I mean, when Punk left, we were all like, it felt like as a fan, for me personally, it was like Punk's upset, you know, because wrestling is not in a good spot. And he was always kind of like our voice, right?
And he's been like personally like disrespected and not listened to by WWE.
Yeah.
Right. And to the extent that it's made him fall out of love with wrestling.
Yeah.
You know? And apparently he'd been talking to Tony Khan for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And a big part, it's funny because we'll talk about Daniel Bryan later on, and they both said that like a big thing that helped both of them look at AEW was how they treated Brody Lee.
Yeah.
How they treated his illness and eventual death, and how they were how they kept things secret, how respectful they were of him and of his family, and then how they treated him afterwards and everything. And they're like, these guys are this is respect.
Mm-hmm.
This is respect for the performers that we don't feel like we're getting in WWE, you know? And Punk said, you know, he's like, if you've been upset by the choices that I've made, that being staying away from wrestling, he's like, I get it, but you have to understand there's no way that I could go back to the place that made me feel like that.
Yeah.
You know,
he was your champion.
He's like, I needed time. I would never get better physically or emotionally or mentally. It was a man on national TV talking about mental health. It was great. And he was like, I will never get better if I didn't walk away. And everyone's like, hey, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, all right. But you're better now, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. And you're like, yeah.
Self-care.
Yeah.
Is does he keep the name? Because so many times you've talked about people coming back to these things and they don't get to keep their name.
Yes, because WWE never changed his name.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was CM Punk on the Indies, and they kept for whatever reason, they kept his name in WWE.
But he got
certain people,
he got to have ownership of it all the way through. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what else is brilliant about the CM Punk thing? Is because they used Cult of Personality as his theme song. All AEW had to do was just pay for the rights to Cult of Personality, and everyone already knows.
And I saw this anecdote. Living Colour, the band who did Cult of Personality, when AEW contacted them, they were like, what? Huh? So they contacted Punk and were like, yo, someone's trying to license Cult of Personality for wrestling. Is this you? Because if it's not, they can fuck off.
That's so good.
Yeah. It's like, we're not going to license this to anybody else.
Yeah.
So you have to tell us if this is you.
You have to tell me if you're a cop.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's so good.
I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's great. It's my second favorite theme song anecdote that will come up today.
There's another one?
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know it. I don't know it then. Yeah.
So, yeah, Punk is in AEW, and there were rumors also about Daniel Bryan, because his contract was coming up in WWE, and there was a bit where there was a promo on a follow-up. I think it was on Dynamite, where Punk was talking about how he was back.
Yeah.
And the people in the crowd were doing the yes chant, yes, yes, yes. And Punk was like, that's a different guy. You'll have to be patient.
So good.
And everybody was just like,
everyone's like, wait, what did you say?
Hey, Punk's also a huge troll.
Yeah.
So that it was like, maybe he's just messing with people.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyway, in his initial promo, he also was like, all right, so Darby Allin, because Darby was basically like, if someone out there thinks they're the best in the world, then come over here and challenge me. And he was like, all right, Darby Allin, I will see you at the pay-per-view. You and Sting, because Sting is like hanging out with Darby Allin. They were up in the rafters.
That was cool. Yeah, that was a good shot.
So that's the setup for that match. Is just Darby said he wanted to fight. Punk's back and wants to fight. They're gonna have a fight. Great. And then we'll talk about the rest of these as we go into the show.
Yeah. Very exciting. Very exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
So that's about a half hour in, and you did say live from Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah, we sure did. Hey, look, Beej, that was bound to happen. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel you.
All right, there was a 5-on-5 tag match on the pre-show, which they call the buy-in, because again, there's that whole sort of like casino sub-theme to this. It was the Jurassic Express, specifically Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and the Best Friends, which is Chuck Taylor. Trent is out with injury, so it's really Chuck Taylor's the only one of the Best Friends, but they also, Orange Cassidy is with them, and Wheeler Yuta. Those 5 versus the Hardy Family Office. Matt Hardy, he's in his like big money Matt Hardy gimmick again, and he's basically got like a couple tag teams, 3 tag teams really, at his behest. And so it was Matt Hardy and Private Party and the Hybrid 2. So it was a 5-on-5 match. It was good. It was ridiculous. They did one of those things where it's like one guy gets another guy in like a headlock, and then a guy from the opposing team comes and puts that guy in like an arm bar while they're standing, and then another guy comes to the other end of the line and puts that guy in some sort of hold. And so it ended up with like 7 guys standing in the ring, each putting in someone in a hold and being put in a hold down the line, and then Luchasaurus was just like, and barrel through the middle like a bunch of bowling pins.
Did you ever see that spot in PWG?
Yeah.
There was a spot where I can't remember
Pro
which
Wrestling Gorilla.
Yeah, it was very popular. It was based out of Los Angeles, and I can't remember which wrestler it was, but he used to put his thumb in your butt. That was his thing, right? And they were having like a 8-man tag match, and I think it was actually Tommaso Ciampa who used to do it. So someone's gonna correct me if I'm wrong, but they had an 8-man tag match at one of the Battle of Los Angeles pay-per-view events that they do, or events. They didn't really do it on pay-per-view, but they did the same thing. It was like a chain of people, and Jushin Thunder Liger was in the match. So Liger's like great, right? Like Liger will do anything. I heard a story about, I was reading an interview with Tyler Breeze.
Yes.
And Liger, he was like, Liger was just like, yes, you let me do your stuff. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Absolutely. It's like, yeah, you can do this. You can take a selfie. He's like, oh, thank you. Like just so respectful. Like, oh, thank you for letting me do your gimmick. But Liger like had his thumb up Tommaso Ciampa's butt, and they all did it in a line.
Were they sort of like dancing down a conga line?
They were like
yeah.
You can find it somewhere.
Very silly.
I should definitely not have Googled
you
wrestler
should.
thumb in the butt.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, okay.
This did see the return of the Butcher, who's been out for a long time.
Okay. Yeah.
So the Butcher and the Blade came at the end and interfered in the match. It was very silly, but a fun match.
Yeah.
So to the main show, which I'm begging you, speaking of which, Tony, if you're watching, let me do it. I'll do this for you. Intro for your pay-per-views.
Oh,
you have like an opening theme song for Dynamite and Rampage every week, and they're great. And then your pay-per-views is like, and the pay-per-view is starting now. Some pyro, and JR is like, welcome to All Out. Like you need a video package or something at the beginning, like a graphic, anything. I'm begging you.
Yeah.
Anyway, your first match on the card, Miro. Who is Miro, you ask? Why, it's Rusev. That's his real name, isn't it? Isn't his real name Miro?
Yeah, his real
Yeah,
name
Miroslav Barnyashev.
Yeah.
Barnyashev. Anyway, Miro defending the TNT title, the TNT championship, pardon me, against Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
So
Eddie Kingston looks like if my uncle decided to become a wrestler.
But the man could sell water to a fish.
Yeah, it's unreal.
He's so good on the mic.
If my uncle could put together a intelligent sentence, but also wanted to be a wrestler.
But could also just beat the piss out of somebody.
Yeah.
So Eddie Kingston comes out wearing a T-shirt that says "Redeem these nuts."
Yeah.
Because in the Go Home promo, did you see the promo for this?
Yeah.
Miro's gimmick, when he started, his gimmick was like, I'm a big gamer on Twitch. And it's like, that wasn't a great gimmick.
No, at first, when he first came in, he was the best man. For what's his name?
QT Marshall's wedding?
No, Kip Sabian.
Kip Sabian. Yeah.
Is it Kip Sabian?
Yeah.
And Penelope Ford. Yeah, he was the best man for their wedding or whatever.
Yeah.
That was his gimmick.
But now he's God's ordained champion.
It's pretty good. I kind of like himself. It. Yeah.
And Eddie Kingston comes out and he's like, your God and my God are not the same. I think because Miro's Eastern Orthodox, and because like Kingston like has like a cross that he like takes off and kisses before the match. So it's like, it's not like he's not religious, but it's, Catholicism's weird. Anyway, that's not actually a focus of this. He comes out and Miro has been calling himself the Redeemer.
Yeah,
and he says God's favorite champion only lies down for one person, which is his wife in a hotel room after a major victory. And then Eddie Kingston says, well, if you're the Redeemer, you can redeem these nuts. And then they fight for a bit, and that leads to this. That was the promo for this match. This match was already set.
I did see the redeem these nuts thing.
Yeah. They were like, ooh, let's put that on a shirt.
Yeah. We got to hear a crowd chant, redeem these nuts.
Overall, by the way, AEW's T-shirts are way better than WWE.
Much better. Yeah.
Very, very good shirts.
Yeah.
So this match was two meaty men slapping meat.
Dude, Miro looks fucking huge.
Oh my God.
Good Lord. You compare him to what he looked like in WWE, he's all jacked up. His chest is massive. His traps are huge. Legs are tree trunks. Goals, really.
He's amazing. And he's way more entertaining on the mic now because they let him be on the mic.
Yeah.
It's so good.
They let him do his thing. Yeah, Eddie Kingston's great. Miro's great. These two big men beat the absolute crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. And then the ending was at one point in the match the turnbuckle came off, which was actually brilliant because it looked unplanned, even though I'm sure it was.
Like the whole, not the pad, the whole turnbuckle?
The pad for the turnbuckle.
Okay, yeah.
came
Okay,
off.
good.
So like the exposed steel, And so the pad comes off and then the ref's like, oh, and the pad was just sitting in the middle of the ring. And then at one point, Eddie Kingston hits Miro with his he does like a spinning back fist and then a DDT. But the ref had picked up the pad and was trying to fix the turnbuckle, so he missed starting the 3 count on Miro. And so the crowd was also shout outs to the crowd. They were amazing all night.
So loud.
All night. It was
night.
incredible.
Yeah.
Every match they chanted something or they were into it. It didn't matter who it was. It was awesome. I don't know. I was like, if this is what the shows are going to be like going forward, I pray.
Good job, Chicago.
Yeah, good job, Chicago. You really knocked that one out of the park. And so the ref had to put the turnbuckle back in. And he missed the count. And everyone starts booing boo. And then they were going. I think Miro was going to take the turnbuckle pad back off, and the ref got in the way. And then they were tangled with each other. And then Eddie Kingston came up to grab him from behind. And then Miro low blowed him, and then put him in the game over, which is the modified camel clutch.
Right.
No, he kicked him.
The Machka kick.
He did the Machka kick. Yeah, he did the little fucking doodle-loop and then kicked him in the face really hard and then pinned him.
Yeah.
I mean, Eddie Kingston has to be the best talker on the roster.
Oh my God, yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, Jericho's pretty close. I think him and Jericho are pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
But after that, there's a big gap, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe now that Punk's around.
That's true, actually. Everything that Kingston, actually, in the same vein, everything that Kingston and Punk says sounds so authentic and believable.
Yes.
It's like, sold.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Yeah, so Miro is still the TNT champion.
Yeah.
Good for him. The belt looks great.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This is the third iteration, I think, of the TNT Championship belt. The first had a red. The first was not the most attractive, in my opinion. The second looked very good, and they retired that with Brody Lee.
Yes.
And then this is the third iteration, and it still looks good. It's a good belt.
Yeah. It's like green, right? Green and white?
Yeah. So this is sort of because they're on TNT, Turner Networks, like WCW was. Mm-hmm. So this is sort of like the WCW TV title. It's, in WWE terms, it's the Intercontinental or the US title. It's a secondary title. It's not the world title, but it's something that...
God, I'm praying that AEW keeps it just world title, TNT, tag titles, and the women's title. And then, like,
a bunch of people want them to introduce a trios title.
Oh, yeah, that could be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be good
Those
to get
are
more
popular.
people on camera, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that'd be a good idea. Trios title would be fun.
Mm-hmm. Next match, Jon Moxley, who also was a big part of putting AEW on the map because he debuted at, was it Double or Nothing? It was because they did All In, they did Double or Nothing, and then Double or Nothing was the last pay-per-view before the weekly Dynamite started airing.
Yeah.
And he debuted, this was some years ago now. And now, so this is a match versus Satoshi Kojima. And it's very clear that this is like Jon Moxley wants to wrestle this guy from New Japan. So, okay.
Yeah. Do whatever you want.
What's the storyline behind this match? Jon Moxley wants to wrestle this guy from New Japan. Like, that's both the storyline and I'm pretty sure just the fact of the matter is like, hey, Tony Khan, can I wrestle this guy from New Japan? All right, let's go talk to New Japan. New Japan, can we wrestle this guy? Great, cool, let's do it.
I loved how there was like Jon Moxley did like a interview or like a monologue basically on, I think it was Rampage, when he found out that he was going to be wrestling Kojima. Mm-hmm. And he's like, this old man is coming into my place. And it's like, I'm going to fuck. Like, he didn't say fuck it, but he's like, I'm going to murder him. Yeah. Like, he's just like, I'm going to kill him. It's like, holy shit, John. Jesus. Can you calm down? Like, that's another human being we're talking about. I'm going to fucking murder him.
He's 50.
Dead.
He's 50. Doesn't look it.
Yeah.
They mentioned that he was trained by Stan Hansen.
Yeah.
Stan the Lariat Hansen.
Yeah.
And he has wears a pad on his right elbow, under which his arm is taped, and that's where he uses his big like right arm lariat to like really just like slaughter people. And he, if I recall correctly, he didn't actually ever hit it. He hit a lariat with the left arm at one point, but that's the less powerful arm, you see. Yeah. And he teased it. He like took the pad off and was like, all right, it's lariat time. This was a very Japanese match.
Yeah, it was great.
In the way that like they both wrestled and the way that it was sort of paced and everything. And it was really good.
It was unfortunate too, because like I will admit I've never watched Satoshi Kojima ever wrestle before.
I had not heard of this man.
Yeah, I've heard of him, but I've never like
no
like
idea.
Just as like I've seen his name written down, you know, in an article or something, or like maybe I saw like when I was watching Wrestle Kingdom once or twice that I would see him, and but it was like it was weirdly like I guess Satoshi Kojima has like a battle cry that he yells, and he yelled it and no one chanted along, but then later on after this match they were singing the theme song of the wrestler, which is weird. It's just like, I don't know, it's a weird...
He's not as well known.
Yeah, I guess so.
To North Americans.
Yeah, it was good though. I love Jon Moxley. Like, AEW's doing this thing too where like they're giving wrestlers just theme songs that people sing along to.
Yeah.
So now it's like, it started with Jericho's. Yeah. Right? And then they gave Jungle Boy...
Tarzan Boy.
By... I don't know who does
I don't remember the name.
And then... they gave Jon Moxley Wild Thing.
Yeah.
Which feels kind of weird, right?
It does feel weird.
It feels a little pandering, you know? They're like, hey,
it's too upbeat for his character.
Yeah, it just
Wild Thing. Dun, 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 right?
Yeah. Oh, so not like the Tone Loc Wild Thing. They'd be like the original Wild Thing.
Tone Loc's Wild Thing would be great,
though.
Right?
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Want to do the Wild Thing. You're thinking of Baltimora, who did Tarzan Boy.
Tarzan Boy, yeah.
They're Italian. Yeah. If that means anything, I didn't know that.
It was nice hearing.
Fragile.
It was nice on the pre-show for this, having Jurassic Express enter to Jungle Boy, because Taz wasn't on commentary. And every time the Taz is on commentary for Dark and Jungle Boy or the Jurassic Express enter, he sings along to Baltimora, to Tarzan Boy by Baltimora. And he does it now because it's like a meme that he's absolutely shit at it. And it's like, okay, haha, Taz, we get it. You're now ruining the song every single time because he's just like, and it's like, Taz, please Christ,
stop.
shut up.
Yeah. Please stop.
Anyway, something I really liked is at the beginning of the match, Satoshi Kojima puts his hand out to shake Moxley's hand, and Moxley gives him the middle finger and then attacks him. And then after the match, he very deeply and respectfully bows at him. Moxley eventually wins the match, but he's it's like one of those was in character.
Yeah. One of those was in character, one of those was not.
Yeah.
It was fun, though.
You can imagine him backstage being like, I'm very happy to have a chance to wrestle you. When we get out there, I'm going to give you the finger and then kick you in the balls. But just so we know now, very much looking forward to this. Thank you.
I am praying, now that we're seeing more New Japan people, I am praying with all my heart that AEW gets Hiroshi Tanahashi on a show. If you don't know who Hiroshi Tanahashi is, he's basically Japan's John Cena. Basically, right?
Yeah, all right.
He carried New Japan for years, been around forever. He's very cute. So if that's your thing.
Oh, agreed.
He's a very good-looking man. There's a picture of him just wearing a chef's apron in a kitchen. And I'm like, wow, I'm not gay, but
I can appreciate the male form.
Yeah. It's I'd do it.
44 years old.
Yeah.
Dang.
If they can get Hiroshi Tanahashi, I'll be all over the moon. Yeah, that'd be great.
So after this match, which again was very good and a lot of good sort of in-ring moments and Kojima trying to get the lariat in. Eventually, I think Moxley had to hit 2 paradigm shifts, which is formerly known as the Dirty Deeds.
Yeah.
Right? The double underhook DDT.
Yeah.
To eliminate him. Did eventually win. And then...
I did not expect this.
No, this is wild surprise of the night number 1.
Yeah.
Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah.
And Beej is now Googling Minoru Suzuki.
Minoru Suzuki.
You're going to recognize him. You may not have heard of him, but you're going to see a picture and be like, oh, that guy. Because he shows up in a lot of Japanese media. And he's a Japanese wrestler. He's one I knew.
Yeah.
His theme song is famous.
Yeah.
After this, his theme song went to number 1 on the J-pop charts on US iTunes.
Really?
Yeah, and the artist was like, wow, this is amazing. I saw a comment that was like, yeah, but those people probably bought it out of fear.
I would.
The character has a reputation for attacking ring announcers.
Yeah.
And so he shows up in the ramp, and I think it was Tony or Excalibur. No, it was actually JR. It was like, oh, we should probably get out of here.
Yeah.
And later he quipped, I once had breakfast with Suzuki and I was afraid to chew.
Suzuki's terrifying.
Yeah.
Man, I've never been so scared of a wrestler in my entire life.
He's very believably a madman.
Yes.
So he comes out, huge surprise. Moxley's just like, he knows the song. The song hits. Moxley looks up at the ramps and you can see him mouth. He's just like, fuck. He looks terrified.
A twist to this, too, is that Suzuki co-founded Pancrase, which is one of the first MMA organizations in the world.
Oh, he's a legit fighter, too.
Oh, yeah. He's like a legit shoot fighter.
He's not the Brock Lesnar of Japan, but comparable in that he has had an MMA career and can absolutely beat
He's
the
like the
crap
Brock
out of
Lesnar
everyone.
of Japan if you're pretty sure the Brock Lesnar of Japan would stab you. And probably not feel bad about it.
Yeah, Brock. Yeah, like
I don't think Brock would stab anybody.
No,
I am not convinced.
no, because he's not being paid to. He's like, it's too much work.
Suzuki would stab someone just for the sheer joy
Brock
of
will
it.
just head on back to the farm in Saskatchewan and
Hell yeah.
harvest wheat.
Well, and these guys have history.
Yes, they have wrestled before.
Yes.
At Wrestle Kingdom 14 in 2020,
Yeah.
they confronted each other and Suzuki incapacitated Moxley with the gotcha style pile driver.
Yeah. It's a pile driver, but he loops his hands around, like, you know when you're holding someone in a pile driver and they're like bent over?
Yeah.
And he like loops both his hands around like in between your legs and like lifts you up. Adds more like impact, I guess.
Oh yeah, because you're pulling straight down.
Well, it's like but both your arms are like this, right?
Yeah.
And your legs are on either side.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So he comes out. Shout out to the Chicago crowd singing along with the theme song.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Incredible. Yeah.
And they confront each other in the ring and start talking, and they fight, and Suzuki, clatters Moxley, and that's like kind of it for the pay-per-view. They have, at time of recording, they have a match tonight on Dynamite. Which I can't believe.
Which is wild. Well,
I can't believe that's going to be on
so
Dynamite.
Soon. Yeah, it was like they're like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, on Wednesday.
Yeah,
we're like, wait, what? Wednesday? They're like, yeah, on free TV.
Yeah. He's probably only in town for a week.
We get it for free.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a great match. Just like a fun, like, there's nothing really on the line
looks
here.
like he's having so much fun.
Oh
right?
yeah. Also,
you can
speaking of
tell.
people who are big,
Moxley's huge, right?
Yeah.
Like compare Moxley to like what he looked like when he. Remember when
Dean
when
Ambrose
he was Dean Ambrose
was like muscular but like wiry.
And
Moxley
now
looks
he's
like a
just-
bear.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah.
Massive. He looks great. Got a kid on the way apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for him.
Next match, the AEW Women's World Championship match. Pardon me. There we go. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. There we go. With her cronies at ringside, defending against Chris Statlander. So this is, Beach, to fill you in, this is a dentist defending the World Championship against an alien.
Yeah.
So
But a
Dr.
legit dentist, and we're not sure if it's a legit alien, but we're pretty sure.
Dr. Britt Baker
Why would
is
they lie?
Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Yeah, what do they have to gain from lying?
is an actual currently practicing dentist.
Yeah.
Apparently there's been an uptick in
Yeah, she's like, I get
Thankfully-
way more clients.
yeah, thankfully not creepy wrestling fans as clients.
Yeah.
And Chris Statlander, who's just big and strong and is she billed like from the Andromeda Galaxy?
Yeah. I love Chris Statlander. I think she's great.
Yeah, she's great. One of her things is that she'll boop you on the nose.
Yeah.
She boop. It's not like a move, but it's just like a thing that it's almost like a taunt. Right?
Okay.
And at one point in this match, she grabs Britt's arm and like bends it around and like grabs her hand and makes Britt boop her nose with her own finger.
Yeah. She's doing like she gets in her face and Britt Baker's like she does DMD.
Okay.
Is like her
One
to get
of
the
her
crowd
taunts,
channel on.
yeah.
And she's like DM, and then she grabs the hand. She's like, no. Yeah, it really sells it. That's my favorite part of wrestling.
Yeah.
Is when they do stuff like that. It's like when Orange Cassidy does the little kicks.
I love that Orange Cassidy, of all people, because he was also at ringside.
Yeah.
Because he and Chris Statlander in character are friends. I mean, in person, in real life, are friends too. But their characters are friends in that, like, she's learning how to be a human being from Orange Cassidy, of all people. And it's like, bad example, but okay.
Yeah, we're not even sure if Orange Cassidy's a real human being. So
Yeah.
Nobody's that terminally chill. You know?
Maybe it's just because he's like a subset of human behavior. Like it's just a very small
Yeah.
piece of what he does, and she's like, "That's the place to start."
Yeah.
You know, you have to like toddlers have to start small, right?
Yeah. There was in the pre-show, as he was coming in, Orange Cassidy grabbed a sign out of the audience that someone had that it was just white with black. It looked like it was run off a printer with like I don't know the font exactly, but it looked kind of like comic papyrus, honestly. But it just said Orange Cassidy is okay, period. And he just grabbed the sign and did like the. And then like set it down.
Yeah.
It was great.
That's great. Yeah, so like Britt Baker's been really good or really popular lately.
Yeah.
She had a match on an episode of Dynamite with Thunder Rosa.
Oh my God.
Which was like a lights out, no unsanctioned match.
So good.
And it was unreal. There
Yeah.
was blood, there was everything. It was great.
Thunder Rosa is also amazing.
Yeah.
I love Thunder Rosa. First introduced to her on NWA Power.
Yeah.
Actually. But she is now with AEW. And but she had been appearing on AEW while still under contract with NWA. But then officially was fine. She even had a T-shirt before she was officially signed.
Yeah.
But now she is indeed officially signed, and they had a match which there was this iconic shot of Britt Baker just covered in blood.
Yeah.
They put it on a T-shirt and captioned it "Role Model," and it was very, very good.
Didn't she break her nose or something?
I don't think she broke her nose, but she was definitely bleeding a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
It was crazy.
That was an amazing
It was
match.
great.
And so then Britt Baker defeated Hikaru Shida, who had been champ for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's champ and was defending against, like we said, Chris Statlander
Yeah.
in this match. Great match. Boy, Statlander is strong.
She is very strong. There was a moment where they were like both on the top rope, and Chris Statlander, like, they kind of just miscommunicated or flubbed, and like Britt started dropping, but then Chris Statlander just stopped her. She's just like, no.
Grabbed her, picked her back up,
yeah.
and did the move.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it and going like, holy shit, she is so strong.
Yeah, so strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, and like Britt Baker's like a heel, but not really a heel because people don't really boo her, you know?
Yeah, but they like her. But yeah, she's definitely a heel. And
Yeah.
again, she's got Jamie Hayter and Rebel sort of running around at ringside being, like I said, little sort of Britt Baker cronies.
Yeah.
And, not generally face maneuvers. But eventually she did retain.
Yeah.
But great match. And looking forward to seeing more TV time from the AEW Women's Division, please.
They've gotten better.
They have gotten
a lot
better.
They have listened. That was the one thing. Like,
it was
remember
bad
a lot
for
of
a
us
while.
were like, "Hey, can you give the women some more time?" They're like, "Yes, we hear you."
And their
like,
roster is their women's roster is really good.
Yeah, it was
And-
more when I was
yeah.
watching the Casino Battle Royale. I'm like, this women's roster is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be soon. We'll talk about that one. But first is this next match. Holy shit.
Yeah.
This is the AEW Tag Team Championship. The Young Bucks defending against the Lucha Brothers. They ran a Tag Team Championship Eliminator Tournament, which the semifinals...
That's a joke, right? Like,
I think so.
They
I
do
think
that
that's-
on purpose, right?
That's them making fun of Vince, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we've talked before about how they had a tournament, but Vince was like, "No, I don't like the word tournament. We're going to call it an eliminator."
Yeah.
And so then they did. So they've called it the Eliminator Tournament.
Which is really funny.
Anyway, in the semifinals, Jurassic Express beat Private Party, and the Lucha Brothers beat the Varsity Blondes, and then the Lucha Brothers defeated Jurassic Express
Also,
in the finals.
The Varsity Blondes have Brian Pillman's kid on that team,
Yeah.
which is cool.
For those who appreciate second generation wrestling, that was neat. So, the Lucha Brothers, Penta El Zero Miedo, and Rey Fenix. I can't do the rolling R's like Justin Roberts. Justin Roberts,
Such a good
so good
announcer,
at ring
yeah.
announcing. I'm so glad that he's back. I don't know why WWE ever fired him.
Yeah. We don't know why WWE fires anyone.
No.
We just had a whole 30-minute conversation at the beginning.
Completely
of the show.
baffling. I remember I'm like, Kathleen doesn't watch this, but she picks up a lot of stuff through osmosis from me and from this show. And I mentioned, it's like, yeah, they fired Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, and she's like, why? What's happening? And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, why are they doing this? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
So this is a steel cage match. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and a couple other folks, but primarily those two at the moment are part of the Elite. Those two groups. Sorry, those three people, but two groups. Anyway, the Elite. And who are the Elite? This predates AEW. It was Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Adam Cole and Hangman Adam Page and Gallows and Anderson and Cody.
Cody was there, yeah. Cody became part of it.
Yeah.
After Cody left WWE.
Yeah. And they did this like weekly vlog basically called Being the Elite that was like just them. Like there were storylines. Like it's not some stuff is just like they're fucking around on the road as they're doing indie shows, and some stuff has like storyline aspects. And
It's like kind of in character but kind of not.
Yeah. You don't. It's not a prerequisite to watch, but it's sort of like ancillary bonus content. And so the thing is that Kenny Omega has held the AEW Championship and the TNA Impact Championship and the AAA Championship, which is a Mexican promotion, and the Young Bucks are the tag team champions, and so it's like, we're the elite, we have all the titles, we're in charge, sort of thing. And
it's like that classic wrestling heel move. Where it's like you're one faction, the bad guys hold all the gold, and
they're all just massive douchebags about it.
Yeah, they're great. The Young Bucks I like the Young Bucks as baby faces. They are so much better as heels.
I think it's Matt Jackson's facial hair. Is that Matt or Nick? It's terrible.
It's Nick.
It's
Nick. Nick is the.
It was awful.
Matt's the one with the dark hair.
Okay.
Nick is the one with the blondish hair.
Because he's got it like bleached. Like he has a full beard, but the goatee is bleached.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because it's fucking awful.
Yeah. And they wear nice sneakers to the ring all the time.
They make a big deal about all their shoe game. Yeah.
They wear like it's like jumpers all the time. Like when they're not in their wrestling gear, it's like it's like the onesie
rompers.
Rompers, yeah. They wear rompers.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny. I was like, that's a heel. If you wear a romper, you're a heel. I'm sorry, but you are a heel if you wear a romper.
Yeah. And so this was the culmination of this tag team tournament, and then it was going to be in a steel cage because there's so many people in the elite, right? And it's like to stop other people from the elite interfering.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, there's too many of you. We're going to put this in the steel cage. There's actually a storyline reason for a steel cage.
What's his name? Brandon Cutler?
Brandon Cutler.
Yeah, the guy with the face mask. He always hangs out with the Young Bucks. He sprays them with the, it's like, I don't know what it is. It's like what you spray on somebody like muscle relaxant or something. I don't know. He's like at one point they were like, he's like outside the cage. He's like, I can't spray you from here. I can't spray you from here. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
He was also filming the whole time because he actually does the edit on Being the Elite.
Yeah.
So he was like filming and then got the edit. I saw him tweet, I feel a tremendous kinship to Brandon Cutler because he was like, well, it's 4 a.m. and I've uploaded Being the Elite. I'm going to go to sleep for 24 hours now. Goodbye. And like, yeah. This was the match of the night.
Oh, it wasn't remotely close.
Not close. This was an astonishing match.
I can't even begin to how to describe this match.
Like the Young Bucks.
Like, what if a train wreck was art?
The Young Bucks have always been good at being like, what's the thing that no one's ever done before? Great, let's do it. Mm-hmm. Cool. How many more of those can we fit in this one match?
Yeah.
Right? And even since I started watching quite early AEW, the Lucha Brothers have been astounding.
Yeah.
They've been so good. And this was just two amazing tag teams putting on just a barnstormer of a match. Every moment of this match was awesome.
There was one point where, you know how sometimes Ray Phoenix does the Taker old school kind of, where they're like holding hands and he like jumps up, but him and Nick Jackson did it at the same time, holding the opposite partner, and they like both went up in the corner and then they stopped and Ray Phoenix just like springboards, does a Hurricane Rana on Nick Jackson when he was holding the hands of Penta El Zero, and it's just like, that's insane. I was just like, the crowd gave like a standing ovation. They're just like,
yeah.
Did you see that?
Because it's like they'd paired off, and each of them was gonna do a move to the other one.
Yeah.
And then they like traded partners of who was. They were like, wait, this isn't gonna work. I know, and did the move to the other. It's hard to explain.
You know what's especially mind blowing about this match is that it doesn't have the same safety nets as a usual tag match, where it's like there's no way to develop a hot tag, right?
Because it's just everyone's
in the ring all at once.
Yeah.
It's just a mess. It's very easy. It could have very easily been awful.
Yeah.
Because it's like you got 4 people in there. There's no way to like. There's a hard flow to the match, and you can't just like isolate someone in a corner and work them over for like 20 minutes or whatever, and then build to the hot tag, right?
Yeah.
You have to find other ways of getting the crowd involved. You know.
I actually wanted to mention the entrances, especially for the Lucha Brothers. Yeah. They had their theme music performed live with like dancers as well, which is the Sierra Madre. It roughly translates to no fear, essentially, and it's like a hand sign that it's 0 and then the M that Penta does prior to certain moves as well. But then the Lucha Brothers themselves came out with these just amazing like indigenous headdresses that just
great.
Is this they only do 4 pay-per-views. Is this their WrestleMania? Do they have one that's like the AEW WrestleMania? This felt like a WrestleMania.
I think it's like Full Gear.
This felt huge.
What's the one in January? What's the next one? Full Gear's the next one, right?
Full Gear's in November, and then it would be All In.
I think All In's there.
I think so. I guess.
But I don't.
Anyway.
Also, it's nice seeing Spanish and other minorities given a fair shake and not treated like a punchline.
Yeah. There were a couple other great moments in this match. There were so many great moments. Can't name them all, but the Young Bucks start trying to rip the masks off of the Lucha Brothers. There's another member to the Elite that I didn't mention because he's not actually a wrestler. It's Don Callis, and who was working for Impact. Yeah. And he's just like a hype man and promoter, and he's been around for years sort of as a promoter. And the announcers were like, they're like, well, the only thing that really upsets me about seeing the Young Bucks go to the ring is that then that man in the pink suit's going to come over here and sit with us. Because Don Callis goes over and gets on commentary.
Yeah.
And so the Young Bucks are ripping off, they're trying to tear the luchadors' masks off. And I think it was Excalibur. Someone on the commentary was like, "Oh, this is unacceptable." And Don Callis just goes, "We don't care about their traditions."
Nick and Matt Jackson ripping at the masks.
Look, going after the masks.
Great strategy.
What intense strategy?
We don't care about their customs.
Just like, let me just put a fine point on that, right? We don't respect their traditions.
Don Callis is great, though.
It was very funny.
Don Callis is a great heel. Oh, he's wonderful.
And if the crowd weren't already behind the Lucha Brothers at that point, that was the moment where the crowd really turned on the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
You know, because again, they're heels, but people love the Young Bucks. But this was like, oh no,
yeah, you can't
be doing that. We know that you can't do that to luchadors.
Yeah.
So, the Brandon Cutler, we mentioned, outside the ring, has this bag which he hurls over the
it was a good throw.
Steel cage. Good throw. Yeah. Would have been easy to mess up.
Yeah.
And that gets in the ring. At which point it's like, well, it's in the ring. I guess it's legal.
That's how it works.
And one of the Young Bucks very like slowly unzips it, and he pulls out, and he takes off one of his shoes, and then he pulls out, and it's another very fancy Nike shoe, and he's like, ooh. And I'm like, okay, you're just showing off your cool shoes. And then he turns it, and the entire bottom of it is tax.
Yeah, it's just tax. So messed up.
And he's just looking like such an asshole the whole time. He's like, ooh, and he puts the shoe on. He's like, yeah. And then he gets the other guy to hold up one of the Lucha Brothers, and he's going to like super kick. He kicks him in the head.
Kicks him in the head. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's like
both of them.
Those stuff usually like that isn't gimmicked. Like it's a real. Those are real tags.
Penta had a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Coming out, like, which was good because like a lot of the part of the mask was missing, but you still couldn't see his face because he used his face paint under the mask. And then again, all of the blood.
Yeah.
And like eventually, I think it was Rey Fenix gets the shoe and then just like starts hitting them with it.
Yeah.
Which was great. But man,
and then at one point Rey Fenix gets on top of the cage. And I thought, oh, they did a top rope Canadian Destroyer, which is like it was Pentel Zero and I think it was Matt Jackson. A Canadian Destroyer, and it was like a flipping pile driver that people do. Yeah. But they did this off the top rope, and it was fucking terrifying.
Top rope destroyer.
Yeah. There's not often that I'm like, when I'm watching wrestling, I usually don't think about the danger involved until the moments when I'm acutely aware of the danger involved. And I'm like, please, God, don't let anybody get hurt. Please, I cannot. I can't.
There's Rey Fenix did like just a crossbody splash from the top of the cage, which I actually think was slightly less dangerous than the movie did just before that, when he was on the top of the cage and one of the Young Bucks was climbing up, and he ran along the top of the scaffold and kicked the Young Buck in the face so that he fell back down. But it was just like the scaffolding up top there, it didn't have like a thing to run on. So he was holding onto one of the cables and then was like, to the other cable while like kicking the guy in the face. Right? It's like you could have easily like your leg goes through or you fall off. Like that looked very, very dangerous. This match, it was the longest match on the card, but only by, checks notes, 5 seconds. This match was only 22 minutes long.
That's a good runtime.
And it felt, I mean this in a good way, it felt like an hour.
Yeah.
It felt, because it was just so full of stuff happening all the time.
I mean, The Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers are the best tag teams in the world, and it's not remotely close.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
And people, I don't know how anyone can like criticize the Young Bucks after what their career has been so far. They've proven to us time and time again that they can just put on matches.
Yeah.
Right? Unreal.
So eventually, as you probably predict after one team brings in a Nike shoe full of tacks, the Lucha Brothers are successful and are the new AEW Tag Team Champions. It was amazing. It was clearly very emotional for them. This was great. In the media scrum afterwards, first of all, they are actually brothers, which I didn't know.
Yeah, they're actually brothers.
And they talked about how they got by in their early days by selling lucha masks to tourists in Mexico City and sleeping on the metro.
Yeah.
Because they did not have money. And now AEW Tag Team Champions.
That's great.
So
Man,
good.
after the match, Penta like hugged his family, and I started crying. I was just like, I can't. No, I can't handle this.
I started getting really emotional as well, and then he pulls away from his daughter. She's got blood all over her face, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
He's like, come here. And I'm like, who's he gesturing to? And then his family comes over, and I'm like, no, don't hug them now. Daddy's covered in blood.
Yeah.
But you know,
That was great.
yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
I'm now a Lucha Brothers fan for life.
Oh yeah, amazing match.
Yeah.
So good. Next, you know I love a good Rumble. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is a good Rumble. This is a weird format.
Really weird format.
Okay.
Right?
So this is the Casino Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Which they don't want to just be like, it's a Royal Rumble match. So they do it weird in AEW. We've talked about it before, I think. But this is, the way that this works is all the participants are divided into suits.
Yeah.
And then they come out every so often, one suit at a time. So they come out in 4 groups. So the way that it was the clubs began the match, which was Hikaru Shida, Sky Blue, Emi Sakura, The Bunny, and Abaddon. They all come out, they do all their entrances, and then the match begins, and they start fighting. And then after, I don't actually know how long it is.
3
like
minutes.
3 minutes?
Yeah.
Then
Or 3.5
the
minutes,
next suit comes out, which was the Diamonds, which was Anna Jay, Kira Hogan, Kylan King, Diamante, and Nyla Rose. Mm-hmm. But it's like they still do individual entrances for all of them, which I like, but the match doesn't stop. So we don't really like see the entrances.
I didn't like that part of it, yeah.
And like this was Anna Jay returning after some amount of time away. Mm-hmm. I just know that she's involved in the Dark Order, and the Dark Order's been having some internal strife, and I've seen people be like, Anna Jay needs to come back and set these guys straight. And so you didn't like catch it because it's like, oh look, it's Anna Jay, but we're watching the in-ring stuff. It's just, I think it should just be like a normal Rumble. I don't think.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
wouldn't care.
When I was watching it too, I was going to bring this up. I was like, oh, I should talk about this because, yeah, when they're doing the entrance, the next pod comes out and they play the entrance music, but only for like 10 seconds, and then the person comes in the ring, and the whole point of like Royal Rumbles is like, or like Rumble style matches, is like when you are the new entrance in the ring, you get to go in and get your shit in.
Yeah.
But then they're trying to get their shit in, but then someone else's music is playing, so the crowd is looking at the next person. It's just a weird.
The attention of both the crowd and the cameras are divided.
Yeah, it's divided.
Yeah.
It's very weird. I didn't like it, but I mean, that's a minor nitpick, right?
Yeah. Next was the Hearts, which was Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, Riho, Jamie Hayter, and Big Swole. Mm-hmm. And finally the Spades, Ty Conti, Red Velvet, Legit Layla Hirsch, Jade Cargill, and Rebel. Nice to see Riho again.
Yep.
She actually got thrown over the top rope, came back into the ring, and then was kicked out and was called as being eliminated. And a lot of people are like, wait a minute. That's not how that works. Mm-hmm. If you go back under the ropes, you're safe. You got to go over again. Yeah. And she actually tweeted yesterday, was just like, the entire tweet, which most of her tweets are in Japanese, this one was in English, was just over the top rope, ... So people are like, ooh, want to see a match between her and the winner.
Who is the one that's like pissing shit in God's face?
Oh, that was Maki Ito.
Yeah.
She wasn't in this match. A couple other ones I wanted to mention. I was like, I was 100% behind. I want Thunder Rosa to win.
Yeah.
Because I want her to take the title off Britt Baker. I think that'd be great. Thunder Rosa's awesome, and the crowd really loves her as well. Holy shit, Jade Cargill.
Huge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
she's so jacked.
she did a, what the hell move was it? She did this like tilt-a-whirl slam on someone and made it look like she was holding a stuffed animal.
Yeah.
Like she picked up an entire human and was just like, da-da-da-da, like effortlessly moved them through the air.
She's like, and she's got like a good like 2 feet on everybody. She's
enormous.
huge.
How tall is Jade Cargill? Let's look it up.
But she's big.
No way is she only 5'10".
No way. She looks a lot bigger.
Looks
So maybe
enormous,
everyone's
yeah.
just a lot shorter, like, you know what I mean, like the relation. But she looks, and she carries herself like she's 8'2".
Yeah.
Yeah, she's huge.
She was having a little trouble with her costume and later tweeted, she's like, thank God for pasties. She was just having to like readjust herself a couple times. But that's not necessarily a full deck of cards, because you've got the 4 suits, and then, as part of the Casino Battle Royale, there was always a Joker, which is usually like some sort of surprise return, or, you know, someone back from being away, or a new debut or something. In this case, it was a new debut. And this is very exciting. This was Ruby Soho, formerly known as Ruby Riott in WWE. And when she was fired, a lot of people were like, why?
Yeah.
Why? And apparently, like, really loved backstage. And apparently a lot of people in AEW, when she was fired, were like, we got to get Ruby Riott over here. So I love this story. Because she comes out, her name's Ruby Soho, and she comes out to the music, the song Ruby Soho by Rancid, that, by the way, has been stuck in my head for 2 days now. Are you familiar with the song, Beach?
I am not.
You probably heard it. Destination unknown, Ruby, 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 Ruby Soho.
Nope.
No, really?
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
I listen to a lot of J-pop.
Please never talk to me ever again. I only like J-pop.
So, after leaving WWE, she was on a wrestling podcast and was talking about how, because she's been wrestling for years. She was in Shikara for a time, and, you know, various other promotions as well, under the name Heidi Lovelace, or Lovelace. I'm not sure how to pronounce it exactly.
I think it's Lovelace.
And she was saying that she doesn't want to go back to using that name because it was never her name. It was never her idea originally, and she didn't really like it. And when she was pitching names in WWE, she suggested the name Ruby as a reference to the Rancid song Ruby Soho, but WWE owns the name Ruby Riott. They have the trademark on that, so she can't use it, but whatever she does use, she'd like to keep the name Ruby. When one of the co-hosts of the podcast, who is a member of Rancid,
Okay.
which surprised me, said to her, why not just call yourself Ruby Soho? I promise you we will license you the song. And so she's like, okay. So, and holy shit, the crowd was so elated to see her.
Yeah.
They were so behind her. They were already chanting, like, Ruby Soho. It was great. This was great. She was the instant support.
You know what I like the most about this
smile
show
on her face
is, like, you know how wrestling, especially old wrestling fans, or like, I'm looking at you, fucking Jim Cornette. You know, when you're like, you can't give them too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
I think this show proves that wrong. You can give us enough of a good thing.
Yeah.
Right?
You can
You
bring
can
it on.
surprise. You can do as many debuts as you want.
Yeah.
And we will be like, all right, yeah, give us more. So you like debuts, do you? Have all the debuts you want.
You're going to smoke a whole pack of debuts. Until you're sick of it.
Yeah.
Aha. Joke's on you, Tony Khan.
It's fucking big.
So,
Yeah.
eventually, she and Thunder Rosa managed to work together to eliminate Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
And I was like, I still want Thunder Rosa to win, but this is awesome. Eventually, actually, Ruby Soho won.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And she's got a match against Jamie Hayter. I want Riho to come out and be like, hey, I wasn't actually limited. I want them to have a match. I'm excited to see Britt Baker and Ruby Soho have a match because it's like a Royal Rumble. The winner of this match gets a title shot.
Yeah.
So that's great. But it's just awesome. There's this great moment. So referee for the match, Bryce Remsburg, was in Chikara as well. And as the match is over and he's trying to get Ruby on her feet so he can raise her arm as the winner, she looks over at, you can see her mouth this, she looks over at him and she's like, hi, Bryce, and like goes in for a hug. And it's just like, it's so nice. Everyone in AEW is having a good time.
Hi, Bryce. That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Just wonderful.
I still don't love the like casino battle royale format, but all right.
Yeah.
Okay, next match. Chris Jericho
Yeah.
versus MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, in a stipulation match. If Jericho loses, he must no longer wrestle in AEW.
Yeah.
He can still be in AEW, but he just can't wrestle.
Dude, I thought there was a small part of me that was like, Chris Jericho could lose this match.
He could.
Yeah, the way they built it.
Yeah.
They did like an in-ring interview with Jim Ross and Chris Jericho, and God, they sold me on this because like Jim Ross was like in tears when he was like introducing. He's like, my longtime friend Chris Jericho. I was like, oh fuck. It's like, is this the last time we're gonna see Jericho in a ring? You know, it's good.
So this feud has been going on for like ages because there was Jericho's group, the Inner Circle, and then MJF was in the Inner Circle, and then there was a split, and there was Jericho's Inner Circle versus MJF's The Pinnacle, and then I don't actually recall how this ended up happening, but Jericho had to endure the 5 labors of Jericho, which were these matches that MJF sort of set up for him. And one was like, you have to fight Wardlow, and one was you have to fight Juventud Guerrera from WCW, going back to WCW cruiserweight days.
Juventude's back.
Hey, look, it's Hoovy. There was
juice.
There was one where you can't have your entrance music,
Yeah.
right? That actually kind of backfired on MJF because it was like you can't have the Judas effect is banned, both the move and your entrance music. Because people have singing along with the entrance music. So Jericho comes out and it's silent, and the crowd sang the whole song.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was very good.
Jericho's entrance for this match was like one of the guitarists from Fozzy, the band, Jericho's band. It's Jericho's song. It's Jericho singing in the song about how he's the Judas in my mind. It's Jericho is justifiably full of himself, which is fine, but that didn't land quite as well because it was just the guitar. It didn't sound as cool as
Didn't sound good, and the guitar got like really distorted at one point. It was just like, oh, it's too bad it didn't work out.
Anyway, and then they had the Jericho versus MJF match, and then this was like the final step of the thing. It seemed a little long in the tooth, this particular feud, getting to this point. The match was good.
Yeah, the match was great.
But it's just like sort of, I feel like the fifth match, the final match with him versus MJF, that should have been this match rather than do the 5 and then also this match.
And another one.
It just felt sort of
it's
weird.
kinda
But yeah,
stuttery.
I definitely believed. I was like, so how are they going to do it? When Jericho loses this match, how are they going to get around the he's not allowed to wrestle anymore? How are they going to do that? It turns out that didn't end up happening. No. Jericho did actually win.
Jericho won. Yep.
Yeah.
MJF is unreal.
Is great.
Yeah.
His
entrance. They did the Jericho countdown timer. Yeah, I forgot.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did the Jericho countdown timer before Break the Walls.
Yeah.
Like his WWE theme with like the boom, 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 and the pyro.
Yeah.
Right? And like off, and then literally Jericho's WWE pyro that hits before Break the Walls.
Yeah.
His like the break the walls down, right? And they do the countdown, the pyro, and then MJF's theme, and it was it was
so good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Countdown, 6 to Millennium, 4. We're counting down 3, 2. We're counting it down. What?
I was like, why are they doing this theme song? Why is Jericho can he use this theme song?
Yeah.
Surely not. What's going on here? And
I got suckered. I thought it was.
oh yeah, I got.
Yeah.
It was great. The fact that the pyro was the same was mwah.
Yeah.
Attention to detail. You love to see it.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And Jericho ended up beating MJF by submission.
Yeah.
To the walls.
The Walls of Jericho.
Although there's some debate about what is truly the Walls of Jericho versus like the Lion Tamers. Like that's not the Walls of Jericho. That's just a Boston Crab.
Yeah.
You know, you got to get the knee in there. Like
Yeah.
no, well if it's the
Yeah,
knee,
that
then
elevated,
if you
like-
get the knee in there, then it's the Lion Tamer.
I wonder
Then it's
why.
different.
I've always
I don't
wondered
know.
why like Jericho doesn't do that elevated, the elevated one anymore. But I think
Probably
it's just too dangerous.
It's probably just really hard.
Yeah. Also, it's hard, but it's also just very hard on your opponent too, right? Because like
Yeah.
it's just like their neck. It's probably very dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, very good match. Definitely, there was a lot of like sort of could have gone either way there. Was it no DQ?
No. I don't
No?
think so.
Okay.
Yeah, at
So,
one point
the-
Jericho like grabs like a metal stand. He just
Like
throws it.
a stanchion, and he just it looked really heavy, and he just sort of like chucks it at MJF, and it like bounces off him, but like in a way that didn't look theatrical or impressive.
Yeah.
So you knew it actually probably really hurt.
Yeah.
So this was interesting. Near the end of the match, Wardlow starts running down to the ring to beat up Jericho because that Wardlow's working with MJF, but he doesn't get there because Jake Hager, who works for Jericho, comes down and intercepts him. So these two huge dudes just start fighting outside the ring, and these two referees come down to start to break that up. So they're like off to the side, but note that there's other referees nearby. In the ring, MJF manages to get a pinfall on Jericho, but before referee Aubrey Edwards hits 3, Jericho gets his foot up on the ropes.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, it's 3, that's it, MJF's won. So I was thinking, oh, okay, so they're going to do more storyline on this on Dynamite, where Jericho's like, but I didn't actually lose, so I get to keep wrestling. And I was like, okay, sure, that'll do it. But no, the other ref came over to Aubrey Edwards and was like, yo, he had his foot up. I saw it. I was right there. I know that you're the ref for this match, but his foot was on the ropes before you counted 3. And they sort of conferred about it. I actually would have loved to see, rather than Aubrey Edwards just be like, oh, okay, sure. 'Cause, I mean, like they talked about it, and then she was like, all right, well, if that's the case, I believe you. You're another official. Then sure, restart the match. I would have liked to see her like maybe like duck up to the announcers thing, like look at a replay and be like, well, hang on, let me just take a look. Oh, you're right. Holy I think that would have been a nice little like bonus touch.
Nice. Yeah. That's actually a good idea. I like
But
that. Yeah.
but she went to Justin Roberts and was like, all right, we're going to restart the match. And then they restart the match and Jericho wins. But that was cool. I like that they addressed it like in that moment, that it wasn't like all right, tune in on Dynamite to see the fallout from.
Yeah.
And that's a rare thing when you'll override a ref like that.
Yeah.
Generally they don't do stuff like that.
But again, in AEW, we've talked about this before, that they actually let their refs be characters and be people and have things involving the refs are not just like a random body in the ring that counts 3.
Yeah.
The refs actually get to do stuff like, like give lenience in matches, right? Where it's like, well, his career's on the line, so I'm not going to DQ him for that, right? Or like after she restarted the match, MJF shoved her, right? Which would have been like, you shoved an official, you're eliminated, but but she was just like, you don't fucking do that again, right?
Never again. Now the whole crowd's like, never touch Aubrey. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, we love Aubrey. Get your hands off her, you creep.
So that was good. Next match, CM Punk,
Yep.
best in the world, versus Darby Allin. They on the Go Home show, Sting was like, by the way, just so you know, Punk, this is between you two. I'm going to show up, I'm going to fist pump my boy, and then I'm going to kick it to the back. I'm not a factor in this. I don't need to hang around at ringside, which is good, because you don't want Sting just like wandering around ringside threatening to be involved.
Somebody tell Darby Allin to pick up Sting.
He's lost in catering. No, Sting's actually been doing like actual matches recently too.
Sting's been great.
Yeah. Some people noticed 4 or 5 different moments from this match that are almost identical to spots from a Bret Hart versus 1-2-3 Kid match.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
With Punk as in Bret Hart's role and Darby Allin as 1-2-3 Kid, who would go on to be X-Pac.
Was one of those spots where, you know, when they Irish whipped Darby Allin to the corner and he went through the rope and hit the ring post?
No, that was all Darby.
insane.
Holy
Yeah.
crap.
That was the one part of this match that stuck out in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CM Punk whipped him into the corner, and Darby went sideways and went through the ropes, bounced off the turnbuckle, and flew to the outside.
Just went spinning. Like he's just like
terrifying.
Damn, yeah.
Darby Allin, I think, doesn't feel pain.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
Yeah. Someone described Darby Allin as Steve-O if he got into wrestling instead of drugs.
That's good.
It is. Yeah. I'm glad, by the way, that Steve-O is now out of drugs and been sober for years. But yeah. But no, specifically like the first one where they're doing like the collar and elbow tie up and they're sort of like fighting a bit, and then Darby like whips him around and like rolls CM Punk, and then Punk like sits up and has this moment of like, huh, all right, kid's got some moves. Right? That is straight up what Bret Hart did with 1-2-3 Kid, like threw him, and Bret Hart's like, all right, okay, we got a match here. You know, it was great.
He's like, all right, time to fight.
Yeah.
Punk was great.
Oh my goodness.
Man,
yes.
you'd never believe that he had 7 years off.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, they sort of played it a bit, right? They played it like maybe he's not 100%. Like he started out looking like maybe he is a little rusty. Mm-hmm. But by the end of the match, no, he was not actually rusty.
He's like, lucky for you, I am not left-handed.
Yeah, exactly. And he hit a go to sleep, and Darby like flew out of the ring.
Yeah.
And Punk was like, no, I don't want it. No, what? And the referee was like, no, I got to count this out. And Punk was like, oh,
so he just sits
okay.
in the corner.
I guess I'll take the win by count out, but it's not really what I want. Then Darby gets back in and eventually gets to the point where Punk does it with the full like the pose, the go to sleep pose, and then gives him the go to sleep, and then does it and wins. Yeah. And
it was great.
It was good. It was really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I never would have imagined that was a man who hadn't wrestled a single match in 7 years.
Yeah. Weird seeing him in long pants.
Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it?
I'll get used to it.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I know people have a lot of opinions about everything, but I'm not like, these are terrible. I'm just like, that's different.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll get used to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when your dad shaves his beard, you know, and you're like, well, that's a weird man.
Yeah.
Why am I acting like this? I'm 30 years old. Why am I surprised that my dad has shaved his beard? But, well, that's my problem, not his. You know?
Paul White, formerly known as Big Show, punched QT Marshall in 3 minutes.
Dude, I didn't realize on his theme song, No More BS. Very on the nose, AEW.
No more BS.
Yeah.
Big Show bullshit, etc.
Yeah.
Anyway, that match happened, and now your main event.
Yeah.
Like it just
I actually kind of like QT Marshall as a heel. Sorry, QT Marshall. I like him. I think he's good. But I know that a lot of people think that he's only there because he's Cody Rhodes' friend. But most of the people are only there because they're friends with the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega or whatever. So really,
I have
who are
no
we to
strong
judge?
opinion on QT Marshall.
No, I like him. I think
enough.
he's good.
All right. So the main event, Kenny Omega, like I said, the belt collector, Kenny Omega, defending the AEW World title against Christian Cage. Now,
Well, Impact World Champion Christian Cage.
exactly. So Kenny had, I mentioned all those belts earlier. He defended the AAA championship against Andrade at Triple Mania, featuring with Conan in Andrade's corner and Ric Flair in sorry, got that backwards. Conan in Kenny's corner and Ric Flair in Andrade's corner.
Yeah.
Because Andrade is in a relationship with Charlotte Flair. It's like that's like a weird like, oh, in 2021, Kenny Omega will be defending as in he already holds it, the AAA championship against Andrade at a show in Mexico with Ric Flair in Andrade's corner. And it's like, you're lying. Yeah. You're just making things up.
Yeah.
What?
The best just say names.
The best part was like he was still within his no compete clause with WWE at that point, but I don't think it matters if you're out of the country, right?
Yeah, if you're in a different time zone.
But
You can do anything in Mexico.
It's like international waters, right? I can kill
He
man.
might not have even had a no compete clause, but it was like
just shot
very
him.
soon after he left WWE, and so Kenny was like talking to he was like yelling, and he's like, "What? He can't be here. What's going on?" And like to the camera, "He can't be here. That's illegal. He's gonna get sued." Kenny's great.
I love Kenny.
Yeah. So, but he also defended the Impact title, the TNA Impact title, against Christian on the first episode of Rampage. Yeah. Great match. Also, Christian won. So, 10 years after he was in TNA Wrestling originally, Christian is now once again the Impact World Champion, which was 2 different belts because they unified them recently. Yeah. And then Christian went to Impact and gave a very good speech about how it was time to let go of that past, and they're now retiring the TNA belt, and it's just the one belt because it hasn't been TNA in years. Yeah. So it's that belt's gone. It's just the Impact title. But yeah, Christian.
I don't like it when one championship is 2 belts.
Yeah.
It bothers
me. Made
me.
Kenny look more impressive because he had 4 belts on him, but it was very silly. So I just love that AEW can work with other promotions. It makes the whole thing seem more cool and interesting.
I love it. I love what they're doing.
Yeah. Kenny did, by the way, retain the AAA title, so he still has that one. But yeah, Christian has a recent championship victory over Kenny. So
how old is Christian? He's like 40 something, right?
He is 47.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Got your boy from Kitchener, Ontario versus your boy from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was an all-Canadian. I didn't even realize. Yeah, it's an all-Canadian main event.
Yeah.
Suck it, America.
Even Don Callis is from Winnipeg.
Yeah, we're taking over.
There was a storyline bit before this about how Christian's first match, Don Callis was the promoter.
Yeah.
And then used him once and never used him again because he was more focused on this promising young upstart, Kenny Omega.
It's pretty good.
And it's like, how much of that is true? There's probably enough truth in there that it sort of holds water.
Truth,
But I love that they're making it out that Christian and Kenny have secretly had this rivalry since they were 18, right? I mean, I don't know what to say about this other than it was also a really good match.
This is good. It was fun.
Christian's great.
He's the best bout machine, man.
Kenny's great.
Best bout machine for a reason.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega. Every time Kenny Omega hits someone with a V trigger, I'm pretty sure someone's soul leaves their body.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
The V trigger. Are you familiar with the V trigger beach?
I am not.
It's when the opponent is kneeling generally, and Kenny just runs at them full tilt and smacks his knee into their temple.
Yeah. It looks like he just murders people.
Yeah.
Is it a Street Fighter reference?
Yes.
I figured it would be. Okay.
V-Trigger is a Street Fighter
All
reference.
of his moves are video game references.
Yeah.
His big finishing move is called the One-Winged Angel, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
The V-Trigger, Street Fighter. And then what was the other? They called one of his moves, and it's the first time I've ever heard it said out loud at this show, and it's another video game reference. And now I don't remember what it was called.
Oh, I'm going to look it up.
Please. Because, yeah, it was... God, what was it? It was another reference, and now I can't remember what it was.
I do know the only other reference I know is you can't escape, is when he has them in the fireman's carry, and he does the rolling into the rolling slam into the moonsault is a reference to Alex in Street Fighter V.
Okay.
He grabs you with his super. He's like, you can't escape, and does a bunch of moves to you. But
oh, right. Right, that's what it was. It was the reason I was so surprised that I'd never heard it before is because it's the most blatant. Yeah. It's the Dr. Wily bomb.
Right, yeah.
Wait, what?
I just found it, yeah.
Excalibur called it that on commentary, and I was like, I'm sorry, it's called the Dr. Wily bomb?
That's pretty
Dr.
good.
Wily. Very, very strange.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I mean, gosh.
Kenny hit a top rope one-winged angel.
Yeah.
No one's still kicked out of it.
One person. Well, no one's kicked out of a top rope, but one person's kicked out of the one-winged angel. Kota Ibushi. I got a question for you.
This whole pay-per-view just made me miss Hangman Adam Page.
Oh, he'll be
back.
He's
my favorite.
He'll be back, and he's going to take that title from Kenny.
I hope so. God, I hope so.
Oh, that's long-term booking, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
'Cause this is well within our wheelhouse of things that we need to weigh in on.
Yep.
During a normal match,
Yes.
not an ODQ match, a normal match.
Mm-hmm.
If you take your opponent outside the ring and you put them through the announce table, that's okay.
Yes.
Because the announce table is like furniture that was already there.
Yeah.
If you set up a table, is there a point at which it becomes existing furniture? Like, if the ref stops you before you assemble it, then it's like not okay. But in this case, Don Callis and Kenny Omega set a table up, and the ref was like, no, don't, no, and then it seemed like the table was just, that's just
there.
just
They can't
furniture
really take
now.
it apart, right?
Because this was not an ODQ match.
No, it wasn't.
But they go through a table.
Yeah.
I guess because they both go through the table, that makes it okay. So what happens is Don Callis distracts the ref. Kenny knocks Christian down outside the ring, pulls a table out just like on top of him, and then jumps on it, and it shatters all over Christian. And that looks painful enough. But the ref's distracted. Then Kenny and Don Callis set a table up in full view of the ref. And later, both men go through it at once.
Yeah.
Is it because they both go through it that the ref's like, well,
Can't disqualify them both.
I guess.
Like, who do you actually? That's a good point. Who do you disqualify?
I don't know.
gotta make a call?
Is Kenny trying to get disqualified? They mentioned it once when they were like, is Kenny trying to get disqualified? Like in WWE, they always lean into that, being like, champion's prerogative. If the champion gets disqualified, then he retains the title. You know? But I'm Michael Cole. Boss time.
Ay, 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 ay.
Zordon, but it's Vince's face.
That's good shit. Jeez, Zordon.
Give me some big men with attitude.
Yes. Thank you. Exactly. Alpha, I need 5 vascular men.
Yeah. I need 5 Roman Reigns. Or equally wet human beings.
So yeah, by the way, in that move, when Christian, like, sort of, Kenny was trying to put him through it, Christian, I think it's like just a back suplex off the ring apron through the table. The table's leg came like up through the wood, and like
painful.
Christian landed right on it and got like a nasty, it didn't look like it was like bleeding. It looked like an abrasion, like a really bad abrasion right on his abdomen. It looked awful. And of course then Kenny started
I never
working
brought
the
it
abdomen.
up, but way back first match, Kingston versus Miro.
Oh yeah.
Miro had chop marks on his chest, and it looked like ground beef. It was disgusting. Do you remember that show in Saudi Arabia when Daniel Bryan had the chop marks all over his chest, and he legit looked like somebody just like sprayed him down with oatmeal? And it was like, that's disgusting. Stay away from me. Is that leprosy? Like, I don't know, but don't touch me. Don't look at me, you weird vegan. Like, yeah, I don't know. That just popped in my head, but
yeah, no, Miro's chest looked awful after that match. Oh my god. Yeah, this was great. This
was wonderful.
This match was awesome.
Nice little match to end off this pay-per-view.
Yeah,
and it was nice because like even though this pay-per-view felt very long, right? And we all criticize WWE for their long pay-per-views and stuff like that. And it's like at certain points I was like, whew, I'm getting a little tired, but I was still engaged and interested the whole time.
I was into it. So was the live crowd.
Yeah.
But I was into this.
The crowd
the whole
was great.
time. After the match, the Young Bucks looking very worse for wear.
Yeah.
One of them had like a bandage on his forehead.
Wearing
where
their
he'd been hit
rompers.
with the
They were
thing.
wearing rompers.
Yeah. One of them had like an ice pack taped to his back.
Yeah.
They hobble out, and they the rest of the Elite, they all start attacking Christian. So then Jurassic Express come out and start defending him, and they all get beaten down by the Elite, and then Kenny gets on the mic and like laying it on really thick, like suspiciously thickly.
I
is
love
like,
this line.
Is like, there's no one out there who can. What did it was?
He's like, don't you all know? They haven't figured out by now. There's no one here that can beat me. And if they can beat me, they're not here. They're already retired, or they're already dead. I was like, yeah, hell yeah.
And it's like, well, this is very obviously leading to someone's going to appear at the back. And indeed, somebody did. And it was as everybody had expected. Wait, what's that? No, what no one expected. Adam Cole.
Yeah, the lights went out. He has a great theme song. Oh my god.
And so he was just on NXT. There have been rumors about how WWE was trying to keep him in there, and he was in the middle of contract renegotiations, and then
just wanted to be with his friends, right?
People did not expect Adam Cole to debut at All Out, and there he was, and he came in the ring, and even JR was chanting along with Adam Cole, baby. And then he shows up in the ring, and Kenny and the Elite, they're like, oh, you know, like they've seen a ghost, and Kenny's like, oh no, no, Adam Cole is here. And then Adam Cole clatters Jungle Boy, and because he's like, he's with the Elite, obviously. He's in with Gallows and Anderson are out there too. They're technically signed to Impact, by the way, but they're on, again, there's like talent
I
exchange.
love how Kenny Omega's like, you idiots, he's like our best friend. Do you really think? Yeah, it's like,
yeah, Kenny was pretending to be afraid, and then starts laying into the crowd for even possibly believing that Adam Cole wouldn't be on their side.
Idiots, he's like our best friend.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
So, and they should have seen this coming, because AEW uses the 2 entrance ramp method.
Yes.
Right? And
Punk did a good thing with that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Adam Cole came out of the heel ramp.
Yeah.
Think about it. But yeah, on his way out, after beating Darby Allin, Punk was like playing with the crowd, being like, which tunnel should I go? Like, am I bad guy? Like, should I go down the bad guy tunnel?
No.
What about the good guy tunnel? Oh, okay, I'll go down the good guy tunnel. Yeah.
It was pretty good.
During the match, actually, he did a thing that he did way back in WWE as well. They started chanting, "You still got it," and he was like, "What, hit Darby? Oh, me. Oh, okay.
Me.
Is it me? Is it Darby?
Yeah.
Is it which one of us?" Punk's so damn good. Anyway, so they're having a big laugh in the ring, and then more music hits. Flight of the Valkyries, trap remix, whatever version of this it is. It sounds very good.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan. I'm sorry, Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. His actual name. I think it's his actual name.
It is his actual name, Brian Lloyd Danielson.
Great, thank you. Lloyd?
That's what that is what is written on Wikipedia.
We're the Sticky Bandits, Lloyd.
Born in 1981.
Poor guy, middle name
81?
Lloyd.
Yeah, 40 years old.
And yeah, Daniel Bryan also debuting.
Yeah.
We've had Minoru Suzuki making an appearance. Ruby Soho debuts in AEW. Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson. Holy shit.
It's sick.
Is also what the crowd said.
Yeah.
And of course, he came to the ring and helped Jungle Boy back up on his feet and was like, no. He came out the good ramp as well. He's a good guy, don't worry. But holy crap. Now, apparently, there's a couple things from the media scrum, because he was like, Punk came here because he's talking about how he wants to work with all these young guys. He wants to mentor them. I just want to kick their fucking heads off.
Yeah, he's great.
Which is great. But what I noticed, and I'm not the only person, many people have made this observation. Some people who have come to WWE or have come to AEW from WWE have talked about how they weren't treated well or felt let down or were like uninspired by the creative direction in WWE, and so they're happy to be here in AEW, which is actually quite the opposite of what Bryan said, which I think makes it, I think this comes across worse for WWE, because what he said is he's like, I loved my time there. They were great. They treated me well. They were concerned about me. They took care of me. They offered me a lot of money, but I want to be here.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I want to wrestle.
And it's like, that's like worse. They gave me everything I wanted and were really nice and great, and I have no ill will. I just actually prefer to be here.
Yeah.
Right? Is like, that's huge. So now, like, you've got...
It feels like a boom period.
Look at all these people.
I don't want to be like a buzzword, like, wrestling critic or anything like that. I don't even consider myself a wrestling critic. I just really like wrestling.
Yeah.
And it feels like we're witnessing something really cool.
Yeah.
It's like a shift in the guard, or not even a shift in the guard, but just like an alternative that respects us.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, just great.
It just
feels nice.
They listen to fans. They do good stories. This seems awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very, very excited
Very
about
excited.
the future of AEW. This pay-per-view was great the whole way through.
It definitely feels like an endorsement. Like even if all these wrestlers don't get all the screen time that is expected, that it feels like them joining the promotion is saying it's like, I like this better. And that my being here, even if I don't wrestle as much, or even if I'm not involved in as many storylines, I know that here I will be understood and respected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like Bryan Danielson was like, don't get it twisted. Like, the reason I'm here is because of people like Jericho and Moxley took a chance, right?
Yeah.
Don't thank me. Thank them. Thank the talent that's been here since day one, which is nice. It's like, yeah, that's right, you know? So hopefully they can... It's going to be a tall order, keeping everybody happy, right? You're not going to keep all the wrestling, like the critics happy, but I think you'll keep the fans happy.
I think so.
There's a big divide.
Well, I think the biggest thing that they're doing that is keeping the fans happy, and that is something that they clearly want to do, is respecting the fans and their intelligence and
it's nice.
and listening to them, you know. And it's like, oh, is this what you guys are liking? Okay, great. You know, we can do that, rather than just like,
I'm looking forward
we've
to like
decided this, and you're going to like it no matter what.
what AEW does when they get like the flash in the pan talent, or like the person that becomes wildly popular that they didn't plan on, what they do with it. Right?
Yeah.
That's going to be, I think, the first big test. Because like it's easy with like Punk and Bryan and like Adam Cole. It's like they're going to be popular no matter what happens.
Yeah.
But what happens, like, you know, in WWE when Rusev Day happened? You know, like what happens in AEW when that situation happens, where somebody just kind of explodes out of nowhere for no reason, right? For little no explanation. People are just like, we like that guy or girl, you know? Like, it doesn't matter. We like that person. And so, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And if they just, like, decide to run with it or put their money where their mouth is kind of thing. So
I'm excited for it.
yeah.
But that's it for now, for this episode anyway of Sidewalk Slam.
Feels good to be back, Graham.
Yeah, it does feel good. It feels good to be
really
enjoying wrestling again.
Yeah, it feels
So
great.
that's a positive as well.
Yeah.
But that's all we have to talk about today. So until we meet again, I have been Graham. I'm on Twitter at Graham_LRR, and you can talk to me about wrestling there, but no spoilers, please.
Yeah, and I'm Adam. You can find me on Twitter at WakeUpSuper.
And Beej is Beej, and he's on Twitter at TuxBeej or at beej.octodon.social.
Very close.
At Beej at octodon.social.
Correct. Find me, you cowards.
Great. Or don't.
Or don't.
You don't have to
Don't
interact
feel
with
bad.
Beej.
Yeah.
There's no law saying that you must engage with Beej.
Yeah. Unless.
He's dying over there. Everything that we do is brought to you by Patreon at our patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Please give generously. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.